So just going back to Granby's point about passing over the genealogy metadata from the original clips and actually multiple generations of clips. In the MAM system, we can then store that metadata and track it and reuse it for a number of reasons. So the first reason would be, imagine that you have a third generation asset, a piece of content, which might be the end of season's highlights. Within that, you may have used content from a second generation asset, which might have been the end of week's highlights program. And actually, that second generation package may have had first generation content in it, which would have been the end of day highlights package, which was using original content. So if I want to produce this end of season's highlights package, I need to make sure I've got the rights to use the content that I'm using within it. If I don't have the genealogy information, how will I know where it originally came from? So what we can do is, using the tools within our MAM system and the metadata that's been handed to us by Medway, we can track back and say, okay, yep, I do have the rights for this, therefore I can then go ahead and create this end of season's highlight package, which is going to be broadcast, and actually I may be actually putting it onto DVD as well. So we have to be careful how we monetize that and make sure that the right people are getting paid the right amount of money. However, if you look at it from the other perspective, if we find out that this particular clip is, or by using the genealogy, we can find out which clips are being used the most, and we can find out where they originally came from. And then there are two things that we can do from that. We can either say, why is this clip being so popular? Why is it being used so much? And maybe look at how we've made that particular clip and try and make other clips in a similar way in order to sell it more. So we're going to be able to generate more money, but also then we could do a marketing campaign around those types of clips because we know they're very popular and we know they're going to sell well. So there's two different ways that we would manage or use genealogy to help manage monetizing our content within the system. One of the other things I wanted to just touch on, again, around metadata and organising your content, and this is sort of taking us more away from production but more into the archiving part of our workflow, is how do you organise your content? You only have one piece of content, but it could be organised in multiple ways, and you want to make sure it's organised in a way that's easy to find and clear to the people who want to find that content. So the example that we have here, obviously we've been talking about football, my favourite subject, all day, and so let's say the series name is Match of the Day. Match of the Day comes on at the weekends, not only for highlights but also to show the live programmes. This year we may be looking at Premiership matches, but of course hopefully we'll all be watching the World Cup as well. And Match of the Day will be broadcasting the World Cup games as well as the normal Premiership and other games. Underneath that then, the actual content that we're talking about is the match itself. So the match of Germany versus England or the match of Chelsea versus West Ham. So that's the content, but actually the metadata around it can go in multiple layers of this tree. So if I'm now watching, here we have an example of Arsenal versus Fulham, I may want to watch the short version of the highlights because it's Sunday evening and I want to go to bed early to get up for work in the morning. Or I may actually want to watch the live programme. So this metadata about how we associate versions or the different levels of the tree structure is stored within the MAM system. There's multiple types of metadata, but there's still only one piece of content, so you're only ever having to deal with one media file, but being able to find it in lots of different ways. Thank you, Granby.
So I think it's quite obvious there that genealogy is key to your automated repurposing. If you can't automatically say, I still have the rights to broadcast this component, then you're going to have to manually review every new package to make sure that you have the rights and to check it. If you've got that genealogy and you've got a way of analysing each shot to say, I have rights and the rights span over this time period and we're still within that time period for each shot, you can automatically calculate whether you have transmission rights and therefore leave that new asset untouched by human hands to go out on its delivery platform. It's also starting to build up that selection metadata I was talking about. You've now got those shots. you've done a highlight package for the evening for the 1 hour show after the match. You've got the best bits of the show, of the match already highlighted in that genealogy. You can use that to generate new clips. Maybe you can just automatically strip out the shots that you used in the highlights package to distribute on your mobile platform. Or maybe you want to take them in, just check them, top them and tail them. You can start to reuse that work because you've got that metadata associated with it.